Yes, guys, what's up? It's been a minute. So, I have been hearing a lot of questions and a lot of statements lately, like, oh, what's the most broken gun in the game? Or, that gun's not broken, this one isn't. Listen, it's just been thrown wrong because players often want to overhype a gun before it eventually gets what I call nerf. Well, what is generally called a nerf. Now, I'm not going to say that all guns are good and all guns are bad. It don't work that way. So let me explain a little bit into what I mean about guns being good, guns not being good. So you basically have guns that are good in competitive. So for example, you got guns like the DRH, BP50, you got guns like the Odin. But here's the catch, all the guns are punishable in one way or another, which a lot of players do not want to understand. Because I'm not a pro, but I'm a decent player. I've played a lot. I have a good KD. I have a bunch of kills under my belt. I'm not that bad. But here's what I keep telling people: if you're going to start the game, do not focus on the pros. They're just gonna mess you up. So basically, this is what I mean. So I'll take my trial loadout to prove something, to prove my point. Okay, so when I started, I used the M4, which is one of the best guns, most balanced. Basically, if you want to take a gun into battle, into a match, and think that you're not gonna perform with it, this is one of them that you will perform with. It's not the best, it's not by any means what the pros use, but it is there as one of the guns that are reliable nonetheless. So now, when you're starting off the game, you're obviously going to be low level, you're obviously going to be in lobbies with bots. What I'm trying to say is that pick a gun. Can be the M4, can be the AK, don't matter. Pick the gun and main it. You need to main the gun in order for you to understand and feel the gun's recoil control, the patterns, everything. Because the more you understand the gun, the better it is for you to use it. Because not all the time you're gonna have a mythic, not all the time you're gonna have a legendary. So it's more or less you knowing what your gun does, knowing how it works, and knowing how it operates. Sorry, same meaning, two different words. My bad. So, yes. So now I'll move on to actually something that I'll show off in a little bit, which is building a gun. So I'm gonna take the classic M4. I'm gonna quick equip it so that way I can go to the gunsmith. When you're gonna start off, you're not gonna have that many attachments. You're gonna actually have low level attachments, which is understandable, reasonable. When you're starting off, number one rule, you need to look at the disadvantages first. Don't look at the advantages, look at the disadvantages first. Look how much it's gonna affect your gun. So, for example, no stock. You see the disadvantages it gives. It increases your ADS bullet spread, so now your shots are gonna be more spread out. You're gonna have more hit flinch, which means that if you get hit, your gun is gonna kick up more, which is gonna make it harder for you to aim. And your vertical recoil control, which means now that it's gonna be harder to control the gun's vertical recoil, meaning that it's gonna climb up more. But the advantages is significant. You have your ADS time increase, your movement speed increase, your ADS speed increase, your ADS movement speed, sorry. Now, you may be wondering, it's not the same thing? Not really. ADS movement speed is how fast you're able to move while ADS, whereas movement speed is just your normal movement, like normal walking, your normal walking speed. Now, when I started, I didn't know all of this. So most of my builds were standard builds. Like you would more see like a newbie use. But I tweaked it left, right, and center, and I got something to work for me, which was actually really good because I was able to use it a lot and actually get myself accustomed to the gun. So you're going to start off. You're starting off with this is just an example. So you're starting off with the light barrel. That's if you have it unlocked. You do tactical suppressor. You do 41 extended for you to stay in the gunfight longer. You take your rubberized grip kit for vertical recoil control, and then you take your tactical foregrip A for more ADS spread. Now you will see the two disadvantages, and you'll be like, oh, but the bullet spread is still a lot. No, it's not. It's not that significant to the point where you cannot hit your shots. Yes, your shots are gonna be a little bit spread out, but that doesn't mean it's not gonna hit. Because remember, you have your upper arms, you have your forearms. So yes, it will hit. Not as much as you would want it to hit, like let's say the chest, but it's significant enough to get you the kill. Now, if you look at the upsides, there's way more upsides, which is what you also, but this is what you need to look at when you're done with the gun. You need to look at what kind of advantages and disadvantages you have for the gun. So for the advantages, you have ADS time, obviously you see it every day. ADS time, movement speed, ADS movement speed, vertical recoil, you're suppressed, and you have an increase in mag size. But you're gonna have two disadvantages with it: the reload time, which is not much, it's not that bad, and your ADS bullet spread, which is not that significant compared to some guns. Now this is what I used when I started playing COD. Well, when I leveled up the gun and actually got a feel of it. It wasn't a bad loadout. It served its purpose. It was good. But then now I started to get more and more into the game. But this is what I use. Now I know a lot of you may be thinking, do you still use it? Sometimes. I have gotten to a point in the game where I'm no longer just using the guns as a newbie would. I'm using the guns more like a competitive person. So it's like, for example, I'll take one of my loadouts and I'll give you an example. I will take, let's say, my Mythic Fennec. I use this in ranked, and I have been sorry about that. I have been using it in ranked. This is the build that I'm using, right? Monolithic suppressor, MIP extended light barrel, RTC steady stock, operator foregrip, extended marking. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. I know people will be like, make the gun as little as recoil as possible. Listen, I know you can make the gun have so much vertical recoil, but this gun is notorious for having a heavy recoil pattern, which makes it hard to use. It's not for the easy players. Like, let's say you're just starting and you want to use an SMG. This is not for you. I'm not saying that you cannot try it. You can go right ahead if you want to. The thing about the gun is that even if you're new, don't automatically say you're good with the gun, because there's people out there that's better with the gun than you, and trust me, they're not gonna be happy if you say you're the best and they know they're better than you, which has happened to me before. This is why I'm humble. And as you can see, it is what everybody uses. It's one of the meta loadouts. How many likes it has? It has over 100,000 likes. Can you imagine that? This is how much this gun has been used for so many players around the world. So this gun has been used for so many players around the world that it's actually astonishing, to say the least. But this is what I mean. So if I take this gun, I'm just gonna draw a reference, right? So I'm gonna take it. So I'm gonna do two. So I'm gonna sacrifice one of my loadouts, which is my dear rich blood rose. I have the gun saved, so I'm not worried. I'm gonna take the fennec. I'm gonna equip it. Right? Then now I'm gonna take my mythic.
Good one.
And collect. And then now I'm gonna go to training grounds to show you what I mean about recoil. Because this is why I always say you need to pick a gun and main it. When you pick a gun and you main it, it becomes
There's your British
different to
welcome.
use. So for example, let's say you're using the gun, right? I'm gonna pick the non. So this is how it works. So I'm not holding it down to control the recoil. I just let it spray. Very, very, very difficult to control, right? So now I'm gonna use it without and with it being held down.
While we wait, my fury grows.
See? Still difficult. It's not that easy to control. Because the whole point is that this gun is a heavy recoil gun.
Hurry up, let's get into the battle.
So now, let's take the built one. So, I'm gonna do the same exact thing. I'm gonna aim and I'm gonna shoot. Still has heavy recoil, right? But it's a little bit more manageable. Now, watch as I hold it down. See, it's now easier to control. This is why I'm saying that
You
not
look like
every
you've seen a
gun.
ghost.
I love that skin.
Your teammates need you. Get back into the battle.
This is why I'm saying that not every gun that you're gonna use will be for you. Some guns will be, some won't. That's just the truth. That's just the reality. Over time, you will get used to the gun, but when you're new, don't try to use what the pros use. You're just gonna mess yourself up. So, this is all what I can say for now. I don't want to make the video too long. So, in the next one, I'll explain score streaks, perk packages, lethals, tacticals, all that good stuff. So, in the next one, peace out.